place.
Oh my God. Come on, lady. What the fuck are you doing? Shouts out to anybody that's making muscle gains or fat gains, whether in the wrong places or in the right places. For me, it's kind of in between because I just love fucking food. I love fucking eating, but I have a high metabolism. So I'm not trying to, front. I'm just saying, like, that's just how my body works. Probably when I hit a certain age, the shit's going to slow the hell down. But as of right now, I'm just enjoying myself. And you should too. This is popcorn. Yeah, that's about it. Just saying. Sup? Though, baby. Oh, I guess it's out of this world. I don't know. I'll start. This is ultimate, but I'm gonna take my time with this.
I'm a 23-year-old female, and I've always been a jogger.
Right.
I generally try to run a 5K at least 4 times a week. I currently live in the Seattle, Washington area, and it can be a really creepy place to run sometimes because the forest is very dense.
Wow.
And the sky is usually gray, so...
Wow. We starting already, man. We starting already with the red flags. I'm gonna buy one day soon. I'm gonna buy a red flag, just for YouTube. When I watch horror videos, just wave it around, cause we starting already. This is gonna be a long video.
Isn't much light on my favorite path, even in the middle of the day. There's a reason that people like Ted Bundy and Gary Ridgway thrived in Washington, but I've never been an easily scared person, and up until this one time, I've never felt the need to be scared running on my usual route.
Mm-hmm.
It was around November of last year, 2013, when I went for a run. It was a typical dreary day and slightly raining. Again, normal for Seattle, so the woods were pretty dark around the trail. As I was running, I randomly tripped and went flying about 4 feet. I could instantly tell that this wasn't because I had tripped over my feet and every hair on my body was standing on end. I looked down at my legs, and there was a gash across each shin that was dripping blood. I turned around, still sitting on the ground, and could see that there was a wire stretched across the trail.
Somebody getting you.
It was then that I noticed a young guy, like maybe 18 and 19, was emerging from the woods on the left side of the trail.
Dark, young guy, 18, 19. You tripped, you bleeding. Can't really do anything. You kind of helpless. You better say fuck that leg and start running and start hauling the best way you can. Cause it's gonna take a lot for me not to be able to run and haul it. Like, it's gonna take a lot. It really. You're gonna have to do a lot to me in order for me not to buck it.
Making his way towards me with the creepiest grin ever on his face, and he was holding one of those giant kitchen knives that only chefs seem to use.
Oh shit.
I backpedaled like 2 feet away from him on the trail, and finally my shoe found its footing, and I stood up and just ran as hard as possible away from him.
There you go.
I don't think I've ever run that fast for that long. Maybe a mile later was the exit to the trail, so I was back in a fairly residential area, but I sprinted all the way home.
Okay.
I don't think he chased me for very long because he was a chubby-looking guy, but I honestly believe if I had been stunned for longer or not as good of a runner that I would have been murdered and left in the woods somewhere. Since then, I'm a strictly residential area runner unless I have someone with me. It was honestly the scariest thing I have ever experienced, and I still have nightmares about the situation, but usually my nightmares end differently. Like, what if he had caught me? What if I had broken my leg? It's the worst. Also, in the right light, if you look really closely, you can still see the faint scar lines across my shins.
I hope you learned something from that. Not to go run in that dark and by yourself. Like, what the hell is that?
I live in a subdivision outside of my town. Two more subs due east and woodland immediately west of me. Rather limited activity aside from residential.
Okay.
I decided one day that I needed to start jogging. I wanted to get in better shape, feel good and all. So that summer, nightly, that's what I would do. Around 10 or so, I'd go out and jog around the neighborhood. One night in particular, I was out...
Oh my god. Why do motherfuckers like jogging at night? Can't go in the morning? What, you working in the morning? Or you got plans in the morning? Like, you can't go during the day when it's like the sun is out, bright. You know, you can't go when something pop off. You got witnesses. You know, you can't go at the time of the day where you can see everything. So, so you don't like trip over nothing. Why you gotta go at night? Huh? Why you gotta go at night? Why? I need explanations. If you have whether you have a good explanation or not of why you're running at night, especially at 10 or later, then you clucking up. You are. I don't care if you have, the best explanation of why you're running at almost, 12 o'clock at night and it's pitch black dark outside. I don't care what you got to say. I don't. I don't know why I paused.
Jogging and decided I'd take a break beneath a street light near my neighborhood's edge.
Okay.
A car drove by me. I remembered distinctly what it was. A red Dodge Challenger. I'd never seen it around here before, and it was in amazing condition. It drove by slowly. Through the tinted windows, I could make out a woman's silhouette. After driving by slowly, they peeled off. The noise startled me. I started back home, and as I round the corner to face my street, there sits the red car. No biggie. Maybe they've just got something to do.
The fuck?
I realized that there were two figures in the car now. I swapped sides of the street and began to walk down the sidewalk opposite. As I did, the passenger side door swung open.
Oh! No. Passenger door swing open, bitch. No. I really hope you hauled ass in this story. And you not playing around. Cause now you walking. You might as well be wearing some Vans. I bet you wearing some Vans.
Slid across the car's hood and bolted towards me.
See?
Instinctively I ran towards my home.
Okay.
Him some yards behind. Though I knew I wouldn't be able to unlock the door in time to get through, I simply ran. There was a fence dead ahead and I hopped it, landing in someone's backyard. I crouched and the man bolted past. I laid there for a solid 30 minutes before his heavy footsteps approached.
Okay.
He stood and then walked away. I heard a car door open and shut and a car pulled away. I hopped back over and walked through a wooded patch to get home. I got back, sat in my room, and straight up cried. I've actually seen the vehicle driving around here since, usually in the late evening. I'm not really sure what to do if I come across it again.
Well, you shouldn't. Don't. Change locations. Change where you running.
So a little backstory. I'm an athletic 19-year-old female. I was 18 when it happened. I live in a really small town with maybe less than 10,000 residents, and there are no street lights where I live.
Okay, wow.
Basically, everyone has an outside light on their front yards, and at nighttime they have to turn it on to provide lights for the street. And believe me, it doesn't light up that much. It was around May of last year when it happened, and since I was having a very hard time falling asleep, I used to go on nighttime joggings all the time between 1 and 3 a.m. It helped me fall asleep. My boyfriend and dad were always really concerned about that because it didn't sound safe for me to be jogging around the neighborhood super late at night.
You know what else helps? You know, going to sleep. You know, trying to help you helps to go help. You know what else helps you to go to sleep? Not jogging. Sleep. Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Or take a hot shower or something. Or like a bubble bath. Or get in a jacuzzi or something. Like, I don't, Why you gotta be outside? Just stay inside. Stay inside. Stay inside. Because when I can't sleep, I can force myself to sleep. I feel like I can force myself to sleep. There we go. Sometimes my words just come all together, like all at once. That's weird. But I can force myself to sleep. Thank God I have that ability, because if I didn't, I probably would be clucked up, But yeah, I know some people can't just close their eyes and go straight to sleep. But there's other things that you can do besides jogging and running at night. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying.
Like I said, I live in a really small town, and I always thought nothing bad could happen to me until that night. So, it was a normal night, kind of cold since I remember having my raincoat on. I tied my shoes and went on my almost daily nighttime jogging routine, I'd say, probably around 1 or 2 a.m.
Wow!
I ran the same distance and took the same path, but for some reason I ran faster than usual and had to take a short walking break to catch my breath. I stopped in front of a park a couple of streets away from my house and started walking back toward my house, but that's when I noticed him. He was standing in the middle of the park with a dog that looked like a husky or something as big as that.
Right.
Like I said before, there are no street lights and no lights in the park either. Plus, the street I was on only had 2 houses, so they weren't providing that much light, so I really couldn't tell if he was looking at me or even facing me at all. Obviously, it kind of shocked me to see someone wandering in a park so late at night, and I was not used to seeing people in the streets around these hours.
Okay.
But I shook it off and kept walking to head back home. But after a few steps ahead, I started to feel uneasy and weirded out.
Oh.
So I looked over my shoulder, and I saw him walking behind me, still holding his dog on leash. He was approximately 2 meters behind me. My heartbeat was already pretty high from running, but I felt like it got even higher. It didn't feel safe at all, and even though I tried to keep calm, I just couldn't, so I started running as fast as I could without looking behind me.
Okay.
But to my horror, he started running too.
Oh, shit.
I could hear his footsteps behind me. After what felt like ages of sprinting through different streets, I couldn't take it anymore as I was already exhausted from my jog, so I turned into a driveway after taking a sharp turn into another street and hid, crouched behind the bushes on the front yard. Not even 5 seconds later, I heard him take the turn and run past where I was hiding.
Right.
Thank God. He then stopped running a few meters. I irrationally thought he knew where I was because my heart was beating so hard I could hear it. In front of where I was, and started looking everywhere. Left, right, as if he was looking for someone. And then he finally turned around, and I got to see him a little bit better. I definitely couldn't tell how old he was, but considering he kept up with my running, he was probably less than 40 or so, and just in really good shape. He was wearing all black, hoodie, pants, and cap. His dog looked like a husky mixed with something else. He then turned back and started running again. I stayed behind the bush until I couldn't hear his footsteps anymore. God, I even stayed a good 10 minutes or so after that, just in case. I was so afraid I didn't want to come out, but I had to because I was still very vulnerable in the streets and he could come back at any time. It then took all the courage and energy I had left. I came out of where I was hiding and started sprinting back the opposite direction he went to head back home, to where I made it safely and promised myself never to run late at night again.
I really hope we never did that again. He was clucking up, but not that much.
During high school, when I still lived with my parents, I lived in a small neighborhood surrounded by woods. I would often go jogging on a trail that ran up through the woods and ended at a trailer park. I'd usually go towards the afternoon, but on this particular day I didn't have work or school, so I decided to jog early in the morning. About halfway through the trail, there's a large clearing to the left of the trail, and the areas right before and after the trail are long and narrow stretches of woods, plus the clearing itself is enclosed by a tree-filled hilly area. Usually when I reach the clearing, the amount of visible light is the same when compared to the other parts of the trail, but since it was relatively dark when I finally reached the clearing, there was a flood of light that lit up the surrounding area, which made me observe the scenery more than usual. I have terrible eyesight and wasn't wearing glasses or contacts, so most of the scenery was just an indistinguishable blurry spot. Towards the end of the clearing, I noticed a very distinct blurry shape in the distance that seemed off. It was wide and smooth, looking unlike the surrounding bushes. It also looked like two different shapes with one line on top of the other.
What the hell?
I completely disregarded this and jogged to the end of the trail. My jogging routine included running up the hill as well as back down. This meant I would have to go past the clearing twice. On my way back down the trail, approaching the clearing, I started to hear a strange, indescribable wailing-type noise.
What?
And it got louder and louder, till I finally reached the clearing again, until I realized it was coming from the strange blur I noticed earlier. I started to come to an almost complete stop trying to figure out what that blur was, when half the blur stood up while the other half stayed on the ground.
Yo, come on, yo. You killing me right now. Stop being so goddamn curious. Stop stopping. Stop checking shit out. As you heard it get louder and louder, that's when... I almost don't even need to say it. That's when you need to start running faster and faster. I mean, damn.
I stared dumbfounded, still having no idea what I was looking at, when I realized it was a human standing up, and an animal, which was the source of the noise I heard earlier, laying down. I started to slowly start jogging again, when the human blur started to shake rapidly.
Yeah, alright.
As soon as I noticed the blur was now full on sprinting at me, I freaking booked it for the rest of the trail, not stopping till I knew I was long gone from that clearing. I still don't know what that thing was doing, but I didn't run on that trail for a long time after this. But I'm pretty sure the human was doing something very, very wrong with whatever animal that was.
You know, you could have found another path. Just saying.
This happened tonight while I was jogging with my best friend and mom, 2 females in the late 20s and 1 female in her 50s. My best friend and I like to jog late at night since we live in Florida and it's cooler at night, and there are a lot of people out at that time. We both just recently started the C25K program, and since we are overweight and shy, we don't want to jog in front of a bunch of people yet. My mom goes with us and she walks while we jog. Tonight there were a few people out there besides us. There was an older lady walking her dog, and a couple of teenage girls who were just walking and talking about nothing really. About 3/4 of the way through our jog, 2 guys showed up. They were probably late teens or early 20s. We only had to pass them once, but we got a weird vibe off of them. The teenage girls probably felt it too because they left shortly after passing them. We were almost done with our cool-down walk when we noticed that they were standing up. They were watching us rather intently, and they were waiting for us to pass by again. We decided to turn around and finish our cool-down in another direction when my mom said she needed to find a restroom ASAP. We cut our cool-down short by 1 minute. As we were leaving, the guys walked up into the parking lot a bit and watched the car drive by. It was rather unsettling, and it got even worse when I noticed something shining in the one guy's hand. It appeared to be something long and sharp.
Mom, hurry the hell up. Come on. Cut it short. Come on now, Mom. Mommy. Hey, for real. Yo, if I was the best friend in this situation, I would have been long gone. Just saying, just saying. You know, that's my friend and all. That's my best friend and all, right? You know, and me and her mama cool, but we not that fucking cool. I'm just saying. Something pop off, bitch, I'm running. You know? Hey, you can be with your mom, you know? But, hey, nah. Shit.
I'm just glad we got out of there when we did. And hopefully, they won't be there the next time we go for a run, if we ever do.
What next time? There shouldn't be a next time. Running the house in place.
This happened to me about a month and a half ago. For some context, I enjoy working out 4 or 5 times a week. I go to a CrossFit gym that is relatively small, so the warm-up rounds are usually done outside.
Okay.
The gym is near a street that's surrounded by trees at both sides, and that road stretches for about a mile, which is a great place for the gym goers to run on, and is in fact encouraged on some days.
Okay.
I'm also a short female, and I don't really look fit since I am on the chubby side. This, however, always gave me a false sense of security since, in my head, I didn't look like the traditional standard of beauty. Therefore, I wouldn't be a focal point for any creeps. Clearly, I was wrong. I got to the gym this morning. When I read the routine on the board, the warm-up said we had to go down the previously mentioned road. It was actually a pretty warm and sunny day, so I decided to go and do it. It wasn't the first time I went alone down the road, and my biggest worry so far was getting caught up in the rain, which wasn't a concern on this particular morning. I grabbed my phone and my headphones to listen to some music on my warm-up jog, as per usual, and immediately went out of the gym to begin the small walk between the gym building and the beginning of that road. Halfway there, this car passes by me and slows down, driving at the speed I was walking. He honks his horn several times to get my attention, and I turned to look, thinking he needed directions or something. But when I looked, he gave me this wide, unsettling grin, waved at me, and drove off. At the moment, I didn't think anything of it, since, as a female, I do get the occasional honk or inappropriate comment about my bounce, and things like that when I'm outside warming up. So I simply shrugged it off, turned up the volume of my music, and continued heading towards the intersection that connects to the road.
Stop shrugging it off. Stop. Don't shrug nothing off. It's like you're doing like the what was that dance called? Like the Harlem Shake or something? How do you like, I don't know what it's called, but like, that's what you're doing. That's what it sounds like you're doing. Just you're brushing it. You're brushing. Stop brushing it off, please, because you will get clogged up.
What started to give me creepy vibes was that, as I'm walking to said intersection, I noticed the car waiting at the red light. As soon as that light turned green, the car did a U-turn and headed back towards my direction. Once more, slowing down his speed, he looks at me with that creepy grin, eyeing me up and down and making me feel exposed. I felt my heart begin to race, but I tried to ignore it since he was going in the opposite direction as me now. And besides, it was the middle of the day where other cars were passing by, so he wouldn't try anything else.
You don't know that.
At least that's what I tried to convince myself of. By this time I reached the intersection, so I turned onto the road and began to jog alongside it. I was a little concerned by this dude literally going out of his way to look at me, but I tried to concentrate on keeping my pace and my breathing at a steady rate, using my music to keep distracted too. Not 2 minutes had passed when I see, on the opposite side of the road, that same car slowing down beside me again.
That's the 3 fucking. That's the 3 fucking time. That's the 3rd fucking. I said that's the 3 fucking time. That's the 3rd fucking time. First time you said, you know, you get that a lot. You get looks, whatever. Now I don't know if, you know, cars slowing down, you get that a lot looking at you. But the first time you said, you know, it's nothing. You don't really think about it. Okay. First of all, you clucking up. Second, I try to the real. Second, it happened again. You were starting to feel something. You were starting to feel some negative vibes. You were starting to, you realize, that this guy's a creep. That's when you should have. First time, that's when you should have ran home, and not just in a different direction. Third, why was there a third time? Damn. It barely should have been the second time. Let alone the.
This meant that he had made another U-turn somewhere, took the light at the intersection again, and turned the same direction I was jogging towards.
Okay.
The man driving looked right at me with that stupid grin. He said some words to me that I didn't really catch since I had my volume pretty high before he sped off once more. Alright.
I forgot about that. I forgot you listening to music. Stop the music. Because you need to hear shit. Like, you need to hear the cars. You need to hear footsteps. You need to hear just everything that you possibly could. Because this is like the third, about to be fourth time. Hopefully it's not the fourth time of this creepy motherfucker coming at you.
At this point, I'm starting to freak out because he's gone out of his way twice. I'm hyper aware of my heartbeat as I feel a wave of panic begin to wash over me. I suddenly realize that I'm just starting my jog down this road where there are no buildings around, no place to hide, and I'm completely alone. Right at the hill of the road, there's another intersection that can be seen from where I currently am. But something was telling me that this dude was going to make yet another U-turn and make a pass at me again. I see another jogger a little up ahead, and since I really want to do this workout, I decide to catch up to him. In my head, I figure that he must have been one of the gym goers too if he's running up that road, so maybe I could jog with him and have some company. I pick up my pace to get to him faster. Eventually I do, but I don't recognize him. Remember, my gym is rather small, so the faces get pretty familiar rather quickly. Still, I hoped he was maybe a new member or just one of the few I hadn't yet met.
I feel like the guy that she caught up with by jogging is in cahoots with the creepy motherfucker. I feel like that. I hope it's not. And I pray to God it's not. Right? But all I'm saying is, deep down in my arteries, I feel like this dude is with the homie, not the homie. Whoa, I don't know why I said that. It's with the creepy motherfucker that's in the car trying to get baby girl.
I just wanted an excuse not to be alone. So I asked him if by any chance he goes to the gym down the road, not wanting to be too specific in case he ended up also being the creep.
Right.
But he tells me no. Crap. I thank him anyway and decided to bolt back down to the gym. There's no way I'm running up this lonely street by myself with some stranger following me in his car. God knows what his intentions were with me, but considering his expression, I wasn't willing to take the risk and find out. As I'm heading down the road on my way back, the car passes me yet again. Just as I expected, he had gotten to the second intersection and made a third U-turn, if you're counting. Still, that creepy grin on his lips, still slowing down his speed to drive at my pace, his eyes looking at me as if I was absolutely naked in front of him. He was closer to me now, and I could see through the window that while his left hand was on the wheel, his right hand was on his lap, gripping something.
Ew.
I quickly looked away, fearing that what I thought I saw was actually what I saw. I didn't want to confirm my suspicions, but I was clearly shaken. My jog turned into running when he speeds off again. I am literally on the verge of a panic attack, only focusing on how I was going to reach the gym safely. Sure, it wasn't that far away, but I obviously couldn't outrun a car. I turn off my music and call my best friend on my phone. I don't know why I did that, since she's overseas studying, and there was no way for her to help me. I should have instead called the police, but my panic-ridden brain was only thinking about getting back safe, and having someone keep me company, even if only on the phone in the meantime. While I wait for her to pick up the phone, I notice the first intersection up ahead. But to my horror, the car was on the very left lane waiting for the light to turn green. Finally, my friend picks up the phone, and hearing her voice helps alleviate some of my panic. My eyes were trying to focus on both the car and where I was stepping as I ran. I needed to be careful, of course, and then the light turned green. The car began to move, and yes, did a fourth U-turn. I'm trying my hardest to explain the situation to my best friend with breathless, panicky words when I see the man pass by me again with those eyes.
Oh my God. Come on, lady. What the fuck are you doing? You should be like your boy. And run all the way home. Because right now you playing. You playing. You playing. And I don't appreciate it. And what the hell is going on with this dude? Huh? What is his situation? I understand that he could be a mad creep, right? I understand that, he can be possibly a pedophile. I understand that he could possibly be a sex offender, But what the fuck is his deal, though? He's acting like there's no other woman in the world, and she is like the only woman, only female on the planet. I'm sure a block or two down, there's a female that looks just as good, if not better, than the one that you're chasing down, acting like she's the only female in this world. Like, what are you doing? Are you that? Come on, brother, give it up. Cause I know she not gonna give it up. Give it up, brother. Come on. You have to say enough is enough, and move on. Damn. You got some. What the hell is going on in your head, brother? Shit. But yeah, home girl, you need to make a move ASAP. You should have made a move the first time. But you playing.
That sent chills down my spine every time I think about it. Luckily, I was nearing the intersection, and I could already see my gym about 400 meters away.
Right.
My best friend kept telling me to breathe and try to calm down. She knew I couldn't get anxious then. I needed to be safe first.
Okay.
200 more meters. I'm searching around to see if I can spot that car again. I can only hear my ragged breath, my heart, and my friend's voice trying to soothe me. Every car that passes by me makes me flinch. I was too jumpy, too panicked by the whole ordeal. Nothing like this had ever happened to me before. 50 more meters. I'm so close that one last burst of adrenaline makes me run even faster. I finally reach the building and climb up the steps to the second floor where the gym is and burst through the doors. Finally, I made it. I was safe. My body begins to relax as soon as I entered into the familiar, comforting space. My adrenaline was crashing fast, leaving more room for my anxiety to settle in. I tell my friend goodbye since I wanted to tell my coach about the situation and quickly hang up the phone. Before I could find my coach, however, I fell into a full-blown panic attack. I started to hyperventilate. My body was shaking so badly that I collapsed into a ball on the floor and sobbed uncontrollably, not caring that everyone was watching me. All I could do was try to reassure myself that I was now safe and that everything would be all right. But I am never going down that road alone. Again.
Or ever, just, or ever. Just, or ever.
I used to live in Orlando, in a somewhat shady part of town. The 5 deadbolts in the apartment door should have raised some flags. But I was a student, and there were a lot of students in the area, and I was young and not yet wary. Our less nice part of town bordered a very nice part of town. There was a 4 to 6 lane road that ran through the area, and a jogging path that ran alongside of it. Our apartment complex was right next to the road and the trail, and a little further down was my local gas station where I would walk once a day to buy cigarettes and other things. Because of the layout, it was easy for me to walk out of my door, step on the path, and walk the 10 minutes to the gas station. Walking through the complex took longer. I often ended up taking this walk at night. Sure, I was a girl walking alone, but the path bordered this huge road with a lot of traffic, and right across the street was a busy strip mall with fast food places and such. So it wasn't like a dark path in the woods or anything.
I got a question. Do smokers, do they like, cause I don't know. My mom was a smoker, but like she was like on a heavyweight side. I don't smoke. So like, do smoke like I don't know how to word it. Do smokers, can they run? Like, can they? I mean, I know they can run, but like, can they like run for like long periods of time? Like, what if something pop off, right? But like you're a smoker and like you've been doing it for a while, but like something pop off and you gotta run, and it's not like you gotta run a short distance. You gotta run until you gotta keep that pace. You can't slow down. You gotta keep that pace until you reach someplace safe. Can a smoker, can they run for like a long period of time? I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can keep up though. Like, because my friend is a smoker, but she looks good. Like physically, she looks good. But I don't know if like she's able to like keep up though. Like, let me know that in the comment section. Can smokers run for long periods of time? Because I feel like they can't, because they have like a lot of shit going on in here. So I don't know. That is not a rhetorical question. I honestly don't know, and I would like the answer, a real answer. So yeah, just let me know that in the comment section below. Just curious.
And hey, I always brought pepper spray, paid attention to my surroundings, etc.
You should have brought Adidas.
So one night I head to the gas station at around 11 p.m. As I'm walking along the path, I hear something behind me. Turning around, I notice about 30 yards behind me, there's a car on the trail.
30 yards
like
too
it
close.
Had to have pulled off the road and pulled onto the path. I'm stopped and staring, and a guy gets out of the driver's side and starts walking around the grass between the trail and the road as though he's looking for something.
Why he walking?
Oh, I think. Something must have fallen out of his car and he's pulled over to search for it.
Yeah, okay.
I keep walking. As I'm walking, I'm hearing something again behind me.
See.
I stop and turn. Guy's now 15 yards behind me. There's still no headlights, and I turn as he stops the car. Or he stops the car as I turn. Again, he gets out and looks like he's searching for something in the grass. But he's closer now, and I'm a little creeped out. I'm not close enough to the gas station, so I pick up the pace. The next time I turn, he's even closer. He stops again when I look, but he doesn't get out of the car now. I don't want to just take off to let him know he scared me, but...
What? Bitch, I don't mean to call you. That's not what I meant. I'm just saying, I'm just in the moment. I'm not calling you no B. Relax. But you should be like my boy.
Power walking. My pepper spray is in my hand, but what does pepper spray do against a car? I throw a look over my shoulder and he's only a few yards behind me. He doesn't stop this time. The distance is closing. Screw it. I take off. I judge the distance to the gas station to be too far along the trail, but there's some trees and stuff on the other side of the path from the road, so I bolt into them through them, and through a little ditch towards the light of the station, which is now right in front of me. It felt like the dude in the car was going fast. I look behind me as I'm running through the ditch, and I see through the space in the trees. His car slows down, and he's cruising along the section of the path I left. I continue my sprint to the gas station, where I know I'll feel safe. The owners and employees all know me. I make it out front, and I'm catching my breath, watching the part of the jogging path that meets the intersection. I see the car clearly for the first time. It's one of those brown car truck combos with a tan stripe along the side. Dude drives up the trail to the intersection, flips his lights on, and floors onto the main road, disappearing. Up until that point, I was running on a mix of adrenaline and feeling that maybe I'm being stupid, but better safe than sorry feeling. Once I made it inside the gas station, I pretty much broke down shaking. To this day, I still don't know what the guy's intentions were. Maybe he didn't even see me and was just looking for something. Maybe he was planning to hit me with his car and drag me off. Maybe he was just an a-hole that was trying to scare me. Either way, I had my boyfriend come get me from the gas station, and I never walked alone at night again.
I bet you didn't. You should have had Adidas along with the pepper spray, and I bet you, and I agree, pepper spray against a car doesn't do anything, but I bet you Adidas can keep up with the car. I probably just over-exaggerated, but I'm just saying Adidas can keep up with the car. Again, I exaggerated like hell, but I'm just saying Adidas is the way to go.
This happened to me when I was 17. Me and my family used to live in the area where it took you an hour to get to the city and a 15-minute walk to get to your neighbors, so there was quite a bit of distance between us and our neighbors. It was the summer, and it was quite hot during the day, so I jogged during the early hours of dawn, say 4 or 5. During the first few days of this, I was hesitant to jog alone in the early hours of dawn, but as it became routine, the fear faded. One particular day, I was jogging as usual when a twig to my right snapped. Thinking it was an animal of some sort, I carried on my way until I heard a snap again. I stopped and turned the flash of my phone on and inspected the wood around me. Stupid, I know. Finding nothing, I turned on my heels to leave when I heard a sniff. I turned around to see this naked guy who looked like he hasn't showered in days, with a long beard, just standing there, eyes wide, smiling so wide it was cartoonish. I ran as fast as I could. This guy was right on my heels. As I reached our backyard, our motion detecting lights came on, and I guess it scared him off. My dad called the cops and I gave a description. And it turns out this sick monster tried to have his way with 2 other women in the situation incredibly similar to mine, and now learned not to jog early in the morning.
Or late at night. Don't rule that out either. Just do it during the day when it's bright as hell.
I'm a college student, back in my hometown, staying with my parents for the summer. My parents are recently separated, but only live about 7 minutes down the road from each other, but in clearly different subdivisions. My dad lives in your average, comfortable middle-class neighborhood, with neighbors who are mostly retirees, some doctors and lawyers. You get the drift. My mom's neighborhood is primarily rent houses with young professionals and young parents. Both quiet neighbors, pleasant neighbors, lots of people out jogging and walking dogs during the day. So I was spending the week with my mom and decided to go out running. I run all the time in my dad's area. Never had a problem, and I've even run between the 2 neighborhoods since they were so close. This time, instead of making the turn to my dad's, I took the opposite direction, deciding to explore my mom's area a little. It was nearly 7 at this point, broad daylight, and on my way, I ran past at least 5 or 6 other people out doing the exact same thing as me. As I was about a block away from my house and nearing the end of the route, I took a turn down a street by accident, but still had a vague idea of where to double back. I came up a hill and a truck turned onto the same street as me. The driver, a tan guy in his mid-50s and a brown bowl cut, swiveled his whole head around to stare at me.
Damn.
I'm a very short and petite female, and I have serious baby face, so even though I'm 20, I'm often mistaken for being in my early to mid-teens. I stopped running, made eye contact with him, and he never broke, clearly staring me down as he passed.
Oh no.
He slowed his truck down, coasting by me, and finally stopped in the middle of the street about 10 yards from me. I was able to get an excellent look at the truck. Silver and red striped Chevy, faded paint, at least 10 years old. But I panicked and wasn't able to memorize the plates. I pulled my phone out and pretended to take a call, watching him and standing still so he wouldn't know which direction I took off in, since at this point, I'm still mentally freaking out because I don't know exactly where to go. After a minute or so, he finally took, slowly down the street and turns right. I immediately feared the worst and frantically started typing my address into the iMaps app, picking up my pace as much as I can. After I get about halfway down the street, I hear a car coming up the other end, look over my shoulder, and it's the truck. The street is just a dinky little residential area, not high trafficked, and there's absolutely no reason the guy would need to circle back, so I knew it was a bad situation. I started looking around and dove into the yard of the first house I saw with the light on, noticing they had dogs behind the fence in the back, who started barking and making noise as soon as I approached. I banged on the door as loud as I could, watching the truck slowly coast past me, before turning at the end of the street. After it already passed, an older couple answered and let me in after I explained the situation. We watched through the kitchen window, and sure enough the truck came right back around, probably to see if anyone had actually let me in, or if I was still stuck outside. The couple was super nice and drove me home, where I woke my mom up and called the police. The cops couldn't do much since I hadn't gotten plates, other than put a call report out and watch for cars matching that description. Now, here's the groovy part. I was at my dad's today and out walking my dog. Even after being so shaken up, I felt a lot better having my dog with me since she's a giant wolf-husky mix, and even though she's a cuddly mess, she looks scary and takes absolutely zero crap from men. I turned down a street in this neighborhood and saw the same truck parked in the driveway of a house. A guy and a woman sat on the porch drinking coffee, and a couple of little boys were playing catch in the yard. The truck was unmistakable, but from my distance, I couldn't tell for sure if the man on the porch was the same creep who followed me, though he definitely had the right skin tone and hair color. It was the guy's dimples and freaky smile that really distinguished him from me that day. So I just stood there, scared and totally in shock, freaking out that he might recognize me.
Stop standing.
A couple days after the incident, I'd cut my hair into a bob, unrelated, but something I'd been planning, therefore chopping off the blonde dye job I'd been growing out and leaving my natural red hair. I also had my nose ring in, and my tattoos were visible when they weren't before, so it was likely I looked like a completely different and older person. As I just stood there, my dog started growling, and the guy just raised his hand up to wave and told me, "Good afternoon." My dog and I booked it home, and I looked over my shoulder the whole way. What really freaks me out about the whole thing...
No, if I was the dog, I would have been left her. Just saying. That dog got some real... If it's a boy dog, the dog really got some balls on him. But if it's a girl dog, you got... I don't know. I try to think of something, but you know, if I was a dog, I would have left my owner, and hopefully I would have met you back at the house. But regardless, if I was to meet you back at the house or not, I would have still left you. Just saying.
He had to know that I got a really great look at his face and his truck, enough to have identified him if he ever were caught.
Chill out with these sound effects.
I was 18 at the time, male, weighed 130 pounds, and was a pretty scrawny kid. Still
Okay.
kinda am.
Right.
This happened back in 2007. I had just graduated from high school and was working in a track as a security guard, so the only time I had to work out was at night after I got out, somewhere around 11 p.m. which was fine anyways considering how cool it gets in the Northeast at night. I live in a small village that is a suburb of a small city, so I never felt like safety was an issue. I would leave my house, jog to the center of town, then jog home past the high school, making a big loop. On the way back to my house, I jogged down a long straight road with a row of houses to my left and a cemetery to my right. I turned left right before the high school and get back to my house. I was a little out of breath, so I decided to walk back. It was then I saw a white car coming toward me. He stopped right across from me and stared me down.
And you speed the
I was
hell
a
up.
little creeped out by it, but like I said, I never really worried about safety where I lived. It wasn't until I realized that he had turned around and started coming at me from behind.
Pause.
He got right up next to me again. It was at this moment where I just froze. He just stopped in the middle of the road staring at me. Now keep in mind, all I have on are shorts, socks, and shoes. That's it. Plus I didn't
That's
have
all
my
you need. That's all you need. For real. Like, if we gonna be real, that's all you need. What do you say? Just as long as what do you say? Shorts, socks, and shoes. Just so long as like the shoes are Adidas, then you good. You don't got nothing to worry about. You feel me? You know, whether it's like some old as Adidas, like the first pair of Adidas shoes, or it's the latest pair of Adidas shoes, it's Adidas. Now, whether or not you know, like the type of Adidas that you have can determine the speed of how you run.
This is not a drill.
What?
J. Cole dropping his album on the 20th.
Of this month?
This is not a drill. Man your stations. This is not a drill. He just posted it on Twitter. I follow this man on Twitter. He just posted it. This is not a drill.
For real?
This is not a drill.
That's my man. Just get off me. I'm sorry. India. Hold on. Do that again. Hold on. Do it again. Do the Millie Rock. For real, India?
No, don't put that on there. I can't dance.
No, I'm keeping it on there. They miss you. Say something. They miss you.
What's goody?
That's you throwing your setup?
Stranger Things.
Throw your setup. Hey. On the 20th?
20th.
You came
He
out
literally said it. He said new album 420.
Oh, I like that too. 420.
Oh, take me now. Oh,
Wow, and you about like a whole year off.
He said this with all the. Shut up. Oh my gosh.
And that's right around the corner.
I can't take this. It's the 16th, my guy. We got 4 days. 4 days.
That's not better be straight fire though.
Jermaine Lamar Cole is dropping his new album. You know what that means? New album?
Concert.
A tour.
Yeah.
A tour.
I gotta be honest with you. When you came down and I heard footsteps, I was so involved with this horror story that when I heard your footsteps, my heart dropped. But then I realized that it was you, so I didn't, You crushed all my pop.
I'm so sorry. He's just saying new album. It said new album KD 420. Is that the name of the album? KD? I need to do some more digging. I'll be back.
KD.
That's what he said. That's what he tweeted.
Kendrick and Drake. She's like, maybe. Let's get back. I'm sorry about that. It came out of nowhere. Ugh.
Phone on me and was physically exhausted from work and jogging. I was scared about how well I could defend myself if need be. Luckily, though, a car came up from behind him and he was forced to leave. It was at this point that I panicked because I knew he would turn his car back around and come at me again, maybe even getting out of his car this time. I ran toward the road, into someone's yard, and hid in a bush and waited. Sure enough, he drove back down the road, but since he didn't see me out on the road, he sped off. At that instant, I didn't care how tired I was before. I've never ran that hard home in my entire life, and I've never gone jogging out that late since.
Okay.
I live in a rural area, and it's somewhat really quiet at times. I live near the woods, where sometimes I go jogging with my sister, usually during early mornings when the sun hasn't yet risen, since we have a busy schedule. One particular morning I was getting ready for a nice run through the woods, but my sister was too lazy and refused to run with me, so I went alone. It felt weird and scary being alone for the first time, but I quickly forgot about it. 15 minutes later, I felt like I wasn't alone, like someone was following me. I looked behind me and saw a person. Since it was dark and the person was so far away, I thought it was my sister finally coming with me. I sighed in relief and called out to her. She didn't answer back, so I did again, to no avail. I got creeped out since it was so early, and no one except her and me went through here this early. I decided it was time to head home, but I didn't want to pass this person, so I went another direction, which took a long time to get me to my house, but it did, and I went back inside. I forgot about it since it didn't seem that bad, and it could have been anyone in our town. Why was I so worried, I thought. Fast forward to the next night, me and my sister were asleep. I woke up to the sound of someone knocking on our window. I opened my eyes to see this freaky-looking guy outside our window. He had a cartoonish smile that was wide, and he looked crazy. He started to bang on the glass, and I screamed. My sister woke up and saw the man and went to get the phone to call the police. By this time, he had already made a crack on the window. I'm in tears, and my sister was crying her eyes out as we called the police. During this whole procedure, this guy never moved a muscle or never stopped smiling. When the police came, they arrested him, and they drove him away. He looked at us with that creepy smile as they pulled away. We moved from that town shortly thereafter, and I've never gone jogging alone again.
Or, I hope you didn't.
Hey friends, thanks for listening. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, or Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community.
Okay.
And maybe even hear it featured on the channel.
Okay.
And grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends, and I'll see you again soon.
That's it? Okay. Yeah. Just don't run at night. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't go jogging at night. You know? I'm not saying don't go jogging outside at all. Well, I'm kind of saying that, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to jog and you have to be outside, don't do it at night. Or if you're going to do it at night, make sure you got about 2-3 people with you, just in case something pop off. You can use them as bait, right? Or don't go like in a like at the crack of dawn, when it's like it's kind of still dark, but you can see it. You can see the sun. Now you can, like, I don't know. It's kind of light outside, but then again, it's kind of dark. But the street lights are still on, but you know it's morning. Like, don't go that early, that fucking early, you know, because that's just as bad as going when it's like pitch black dark outside, you know. And if you gonna go jogging when it's pitch black outside at night, don't go in no fucking woods. Do you hear what I'm saying? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Just don't do it. But I'm just some of y'all, I may just be talking, and it may not be going, you know, staying with you. I could just be saying words, and that's it. Some of y'all won't really be listening to me, you know. I've gotten countless of like stories, and like little, like, I don't know, like little, I don't know, what's the word, like little experiences where people have definitely sent me like snaps and DMs and tweeted me saying that they have listened to me. Like, I'm trying to speak. I'm trying to talk to y'all. I want y'all to be safe. I'm trying to be real with y'all. Like, this world is crazy. You know, you gotta learn when to run, how to run, why to run. Oh, let's back up. Take it back, take it way back. You have to know when to run, how to run, why to run, where to run. I think that's it. You know, that's like, running is key. Not walking, not speed walking, not a jog, not a light jog. Running is key. What you gonna do when fucking Jason is behind you? You know, you gonna walk like, oh, Jason, how you doing? Okay. Oh, Freddy, okay, how you doing? Chucky, oh shit, how you doing? What's another one? I'm real live trying to like think of something. Thanos! How you doing? Oh man, it's late. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy and running, my family. Hey.